Who are y'all going to research for your history project?
I don't know, there's so many influential people to choose from.
I mean, there's so many men to choose from.
What do you mean?
I mean, he's right. Just, think about it. We always focus on the men in history class. I can't remember the last time we focused on a woman.
It is his story, not her story.
But there have been so many important women first. Scientists, politicians, authors, leaders. How come we hardly talk about them?
You know, you're right. I wasn't thinking like that. Hey, who should I pick?
What about Misty Copeland?
I feel like I've heard of her. What did she do?
She was the first black woman to be promoted to principal dancer at the American Ballet Theater, even though she only started dancing when she was 13 and lived out of a motel.
Okay, that's super cool. Thanks. Hey, Brendan, who were you thinking about researching?
I don't really know. I was really into that one unit we did on union workers, but I don't really know who to pick from that.
Yeah. I remember that unit. You know who we should have studied?
Who?
Dolores Huerta. She founded the National Farm Workers Association. She led a national boycott. And she led a movement for 2 years that boosted the number of elected women officials.
So she actually did a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder if the girls ever noticed that we don't really study women in history.
Bajo el acero y concreto, bajo las sombras nómadas de la noche, llegan los ojos, las voces, brazos, codos y rodillas, los que hacen brillar el edificio, magnificando el sol en nuestras caras. Los sin nombres, los rechazados, los ignorados, aún ellos son la humanidad, quienes hacen trabajar las cosas humanas.
Beneath steel and
Bajo el
concrete,
acero y concreto,
beneath night's
bajo las
wandering
sombras
shadow,
nómadas de la noche,
come the eyes,
llegan los ojos, las
voices
voces,
and arms,
brazos,
elbows and
codos y
knees,
rodillas, los
that
que
make
hacen
buildings
brillar el
shine,
edificio,
magnifying the
magnificando
sun
el sol
into
en
all our
nuestras caras.
faces.
Los sin
The
nombres,
nameless,
los
the
rechazados,
scorned,
los
the ignored,
ignorados,
yet
aún
they are the
ellos son
humanity
la
who make
humanidad,
human
quienes
things
hacen
work.
trabajar las cosas humanas. Madres y niños,
Mothers and
padres y
children,
tíos,
fathers and
familia y
uncles, family
familia,
and family,
vienen a hacer bailar
they
a
come
esta
to make the
ciudad
city dance.
los ritmos de lo que es
The
justo,
rhythm of what is
lo que es
just,
seguro.
what is secure,
El baile de la huelga
the
y
dance of
protesta,
strike and protest,
demanda y dignidad.
demand and dignity.
El duro trabajo
They
adentro
toil inside
de
these
estos
glass
templos de
temples, they
vidrio.
clean them.
Ellos los limpian. El verdadero humano
The truly
tendrá
human
paso
who
a
now
la
step
calle
into
ahora,
the streets, into our
dentro de
tomorrows,
nuestras mañanas,
and
y
declare,
declara,
basta,
suficiente,
enough.
lo que
What we
limpiamos,
clean,
lo hacemos
we
sagrado.
also make sacred.
A 100 years ago, suffrage advocates had to fight for women's right to vote.
Nevertheless, she persisted. 50 years ago, a woman couldn't get a credit card without a man's signature. Nevertheless, she persisted.
10 years ago, the women's wage gap leveled off at 80% of a man's income.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
1 year ago, a woman that would have been our first female president lost to a male candidate accused of sexual assault and is still sitting where a woman has never sat.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
Recently, the silence breakers were featured on the cover of Time magazine for breaking the silence that never should have been there.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
What's wrong with being? What's wrong? Katy Perry. What's wrong with being confident? It's a little blurry how the whole thing started. I don't even really know what you intended.
I got that boom boom that all the boys chase.
Pour it down, so I pour it down. Maybe it's a cool joke on me. Whatever, whatever.
Being away from you, I felt the vein put it in here. Trouble.
Now here's gonna hate. 1, 2, 3, they're gonna run back to me, saying it's gonna be alright.
Okay, let's wait for the castle.
You wanna hit the scope, but I'ma show you how to graduate. I call my girl, hey,
Hello.
let me live that fantasy. Make me Aphrodite, make me one and only.
Hey. Just think, while you've been getting down and out about the liars and the dirty cheats of the world, you could have been getting down to this sick beat.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got one.
It's Moscato, it's Prince, and the bottle is Nicki, full throttle, it's all I want. My hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth, I whip my hair back and forth. 1, 2, 3, they gonna run back to me. They always wanna come, but they never wanna leave.
I might get your song played on the radio station. I swear. I might get your song played on the radio station. I swear. You just might be a black Bill Gates and New Lakers. I just might be a black Bill Gates.
Well, there's another one. First the president, then Weinstein, then journalists, directors, senators.
It's crazy. You know what I wonder?
What?
When did this all begin? I mean, we're hearing about it now, but how long has this been going on?
I mean, I think it's been going on forever, and it's just taken time.
Time for what?
Time for people to actually start believing women.
But isn't time up?
It says here that 98% of accusations reported to the police are true. Why is it still so difficult for some people to believe women?
Imagine what it must feel like to be a victim speaking out only to be silenced.
Yeah, and hey, according to the Bureau of Justice statistics, sexual assault is also the violent crime that is least often reported to law enforcement.
For as big an issue as it is, why is that so?
I mean, I bet it's got a lot to do with the incidents themselves, because a lot of the time, a victim might feel too ashamed and too traumatized to come forward and share their experience.
That's horrible. You feel so trapped. I'm glad people are finally recognizing this.
I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
knocking me sideways. They even knocking me out, babe. Whenever you come around, babe, these feelings won't go away. They even knocking me sideways. I keep thinking in a moment that time will take them away. These feelings won't go away. They even knocking me sideways. I keep thinking in a moment that time will take them away. These feelings won't go away. These feelings won't go away. With diamonds they fade, the flowers they bloom, and I'm telling you, and I'm telling you, the diamonds they fade, flowers they bloom, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, these feelings won't go away. They been knocking me sideways. They been knocking me out, babe. Whenever you come around, babe, these feelings won't go away. They been knocking me sideways. I keep thinking in a moment that time will take them away. These feelings won't go away. They been knocking me sideways.
Hey, you know, I'm a feminist because we're all human. I'm a feminist because physical appearance has no bearing on personal capability. And I'm a feminist because it seeks a righteous goal, equality.
I'm a feminist because we hold equality as one of our most sacred values, and feminism is simply the equality of the sexes. It isn't anti-male or anti-female, nor is it pro-female or pro-male. It's equal.
I'm a feminist because, like Veer, I also believe that equality is a basic human right. I also believe that everyone deserves respect, not because of their gender, but in spite of it. And finally, I'm a feminist because I believe feminism empowers a historically silenced and suppressed group of people.
Yeah. I'm a feminist because gender shouldn't ever limit achievement, and I want to see America live up to the equality it says it stands for. And, based on a government survey, 1 in 6 American women will be sexually assaulted at some point in their lives, and that's 10 of my classmates.
I'm a feminist because an equal world is the only world that I want to live in. And I don't want to stand in silence along with so many other men. And I want to take every single step I can to make the world a safe place for women. And the first step is standing by them and listening.
Ich kam im tiefsten Winter zur Welt, hab dreimal genießt, mich müde gestellt. Der Vater war wütend, er wollte einen Sohn. Ich sah mich so und wusste auch schon, von nun an geht's weiter.
Eins und eins, das macht zwei. Drum küss und denk nicht dabei, denn denken schadet der Illusion. Alles dreht sich im Kreis und kommst du mal aus dem Gleis, war's eben Erfahrung anstatt Offenbarung, was macht das schon? Der Mensch an sich ist einsam und bleibt verlassen zurück. Sucht man sich nicht gemeinsam ein kleines Stück von dem Glück, das man mit Füßen ein ganzes Leben lang trat, das man mit ein paar Küssen plötzlich zu Hause hat. Sieben Gassen hinter dem Kanal findest du Don Pedros Nachtlokal. Dort, wo schon so mancher Schuss gekracht, sagen sich die Füchse gute Nacht. Es bedient der lange Finger Jack. Drum kommt ab und zu auch mal was weg. Und die Garderobenfrau ist hier, Häftling Nummer 704. Und der Mann mit der Harmonika spielt den Tango für die Monika. Doch diese Monika ist ein verkommenes Subjekt. Darum liebt die blonde Monika nicht den Mann mit der Harmonika. Denn diese Monika liebt nur Himbeergeist und Sekt.
In my career, what I've always tried my best to do, whether on television or through film, is to say something about how men and women really behave, to say how we experience shame, how we love and how we rage, how we fail, how we retreat, persevere, and how we overcome. And I've interviewed and portrayed people who've withstood some of the ugliest things life can throw at you, but the one quality all of them seem to share is an ability to maintain hope for a brighter morning, even during our darkest nights. So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again. Thank you.
women are more likely than men to get a bachelor's degree.
Only 26% of workers in the STEM field are women.
Only 1/5 of Congress is made up of women.
Even today, women make 80% of what men make.
Women make up 46% of the workforce, and yet 59% of those women make less than $8 an hour.
4 out of 5 victims of human trafficking are women.
Each year, roughly 15 million girls under the age of 18 will be married with little to no consent.
Only half of the world's working-age women are in the labor force, compared to 77% of working-age men.
Around the world, 62 million girls are denied education.
The U.S. is only one of 3 countries to not require a paid maternity leave.
Only about a quarter of U.S. congressmen are women.
On U.S. college campuses, 1 in 5 women will have experienced sexual assault.
Thailand, Germany, Costa Rica, and 10 other countries currently have female leaders, yet the United States has never elected a female president.
Only 22% of national parliamentarians are women.
There are only 32 female CEOs in the Fortune 500.
Rosie the Riveter inspired a social movement that increased the number of women working from 12 to 20 million by 1944.
And by 1945, 1 in 4 women were working outside of the home.
The name Rosie the Riveter was first used in 1942 in a song with the same name.
The Women's Air Force service pilots were the first group of women to fly American military aircraft.
However, by the end of the war and the return of the men, those same women were told they weren't needed anymore.
All day long, with rain or shine, she's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory, Rosie. The river keeps a sharp lookout for sabotage. Sitting up there on the fuselage, that little friend more than the memory, Rosie. The river.
Yo, check